Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to teach you how to draw and paint a watercolor sunflower. Here it is. So let's just get right into it. First we're going to start with drawing a circle, and this is going to be the center of your sunflower, and just lightly draw several circles, and that'll help you get the most round circle. If you don't feel comfortable with that, go ahead and grab something to trace around to get yourself a circle. Then you'll see me here starting the petals. I like to do some pretty large petals for sunflowers. I think they have good sized petals and those big circles. So go ahead and do your front layer of petals. I like to make them nice and wide, give them a curved edge, and then just start adding in the petals for the background. The second and third layer of petals back there. Also, once you get that done, go ahead and draw your inner circle, and that'll be the center of the sunflower. Now we're going to go ahead and use an eraser and roll that on the paper, and that gets rid of the dark pencil lines. Just roll it around until it's nice and light, because we don't want those pencil lines showing through to our watercolor. Once you finish that, I'm going to use a mop brush for the big petals in front. I'm going to use a M-gram. I'm going to use the gamboge. So do a nice press, like start at the tip and then get a good press down, and that widens that area where the paint applies to the paper. And then you can just use the tip to get that nice rounded tip in front. Once we get that top layer of petals going, I'm going to use a raw sienna. I'm going to mix some of this gamboge with a raw sienna to get a little bit darker tone for that second layer of petals. And then once you get to that third layer of petals, I add just a little more raw sienna, maybe a little burnt sienna as well, and go ahead and get that in there. You won't want to start on that second layer of petals until this first layer dries, otherwise your paint's just going to go straight into that, and we don't want that. So use a hair dryer, use a drying tool, or just wait for it to dry. You can tell if it's dry by using your fingernail. Go ahead and put it down onto that watercolor paper. If it feels cold, then it's not quite dry yet. So either give it some more time or give it a nice little hair dry, blow dry. Once that's dry, go ahead and put your second layer in, and then do the same thing with the third layer. Anytime you're getting paint next to a spot that's wet, make sure it dries. Unless you want the paint to go into it, then you can put it right next to it and the paint will flow into that as well. But for this, we definitely need the layers dry before we're adding paint. Okay, we're going to start the middle here, and I use a lot more burnt sienna for the middle. I do have a darker color that I use as well, and if you want to mix that in there, I like to just do a little bit of kind of blotting, so there's not a perfect line in there because the center of the sunflower is seeds, so it has kind of a rounded edge. So I'm just going to blot the burnt sienna in there. And then just in like that nice rounded shape, get the tip out on the edge and just kind of blot it around. Now make sure to go ahead and dry that layer before you add in more, because what we want to do is another round circle in the middle, and we want it darkest on the edges. So go ahead and dry that layer, and then we'll add the next one in. Now do the same thing with the inner circle here. Just go ahead and dab it around, and it gives it that nice edge. Now I've switched here to using a number 3 round brush, and I just want to put some details in the petals here, and it just gives it a little more dimension, a little more life. And you'll see these are pretty dark lines, they're pretty stark, so I don't quite want them so stark, so I'm going to go through after I've done them with water on my brush after I've cleaned it, and just kind of smooth them out and get them so they're less stark, more blendy. Just scumble those areas a little bit, and that will help those lines blend in. Just with water. I don't have any paint on there, just cleaned it off and just some water. I felt like I wanted a little bit more detail and dimension to the center, so I went ahead and got a Q-tip. I put a little bit of water on it, and you kind of dab it. You can dab and twist slightly, and that will pull the paint off the paper, and that gives you more of this dimension in the center here. Now we're gonna go ahead and draw the leaves on. I just feel like it needs a little extra something, a little greenery. You could do a stem, you could just do the leaves. I kind of want this like a compact design, so I'm just gonna draw the leaves on. They're nice big round leaves, and I want to get 2 of them in there. One just isn't quite enough, so I'm gonna go ahead and use some Graham sap green for this, and I'm gonna mix it with a little bit of permanent green pale just to get some dimension in there. On this second leaf, I've done it a little more coloring with the water, so that kind of shows you how to do it that way. If you want to do both leaves that way, go ahead and cover it with water first and get a good amount of pigment on the brush in there. You put it in there and it will kind of work its way throughout the leaf. Also want to draw some details on the leaves, so those little veins in there, you can just get some of those in there. And then what I like to do is make them not super obvious, so I went through with some water and then just kind of blended them in slightly. Just to add a few little details at the end, I wanted a little bit more contrast, so I put some darker pigment on the inside of the sunflower and some of the darker leaves in the back, just to push them back and to give it more of like the roundness. And there you have it, pretty sunflower for a pretty summer day. And if you want to use other colors, you can definitely put more oranges in there, more bright yellows. I like to go with the more neutral palette with the browns and the yellow ochres, and just get it all in there. Super fun. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and follow me along for some more flower or botanical video tutorials, and we'll see what happens next. Thanks everybody.